and mercy always follow me. This love you have given me is sweet past this melody. Love me by mouth, yes you are good. Your joy they make me they sing like oh. Ayọ̀ tí wọlé mi ò dé. Ire tí wọlé mi ò kó. Ayọ̀ tí wọlé mi ò dé. Ire tí wọlé mi ò kó. Gbogbo ire tí mo rí, gbogbo ire tí mo rí gbà. Agbára mi kọ́, gbogbo ìbùkún tí mo ní o. Iṣẹ́ Olúwa ni, gbogbo ire tí mo rí gbà. Gbogbo ìbùkún tí mo ní o. Gbogbo ayọ̀ tí mo ní sẹ́. Gbogbo ire tí mo ní o. Gbogbo ire tí mo rí gbà. Gbogbo ìbùkún tí mo ní o. Ó yá, ó yá. The voice of rejoicing is in the house of the righteous. So ìrètí wọlé mi o. Ayọ̀ tí wọlé mi o.
Yeah. Let me put it this way. Tax is the medicine for a nation. Roads are built, schools are funded, hospitals are equipped, security is maintained. Without it, society becomes weak, just like a body without treatment. Another person will silently pray, God, please don't let me have a court case. When you step into the courtroom, you meet stress, long hours of sitting in the court. You pay bill, you repeat visiting court, and eventually you may not even have the judgment that fee upon. Now, let's bring home to the faith. I will appreciate if you people can assist me, at least to complete the song. Mo fẹ́ dàbí Jésù, ìwà pẹ̀lẹ́. Yeah, thank you very much. If I tell you that Jesus paid tax, I think you are going to agree with me because it's a biblical verse. In Gospel of Matthew 17:24 to 27, Jesus Christ instructed Peter to pay tax, even when he had the right not to pay. And his reason was powerful, so that we may not cause offense. Jesus encouraged compliance too. In Gospel of Matthew 22, verse 21, render to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. And in Epistle of Romans 13, verse 6 to 7, this is also why you pay taxes. Uh, give to everyone what you owe. If revenue, then revenue. Jesus did not afford responsibility. He modeled it, not because it was convenient, not because it was enjoyable, but because it was right. Beloved, our Christianity is not only in prayer, in worship, or in giving. It is also how we live responsibly in society. If you refuse medicine because it is bitter, what happens to the body? It weakens. If citizens refuse responsibility because it is uncomfortable, what happens to the nation? It weakens. So, what does God expect from us? Be honest in your income, do what is right, even when it is not convenient. Support systems that sustain societies. Righteousness is not only spiritual, it is also practical. And sometimes doing these things feel like bitter medicine, but it produces a ready life and a healthy nation. So the question is not, is tax convenient? It is, am I living responsibly as a Christian? If Jesus paid when he didn't have to, what should I be doing? So, and I proceed, ladies and gentlemen, there is a philosopher of the 17th century, one of them, Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes propounded a social contract theory. And he said, if we don't submit ourselves to the government in our jurisdiction, there will be chaos, life will be brutal, weak, and cruel. And his theory was accepted, such that, let me give an example, when a vehicle is going, another one is coming, they will meet at a junction. And every vehicle, you know, vehicular movement is spatio-temporal. Every vehicle has the right to pass through that junction. But one must stop for another, because if one does not stop, there will be collision, and that will be the disorder. And that's where social contract theory of Thomas Hobbes is alive, functioning, operational today. But applying it to tax matter, it means that individual or businesses, we need to drop a slice of their income for the society to move forward. Because of the time, I will quickly go into the perspective behind Nigerian Tax Reform Laws 2025. There are basically 4 laws in one compendium called Nigerian Tax Reform Law. The first one is Nigerian Tax Act 2025. That one consolidates all the existing tax laws, 10 of them, into just one. So it reduces the stress of anybody who wants to read through the tax law to just pick a book, and everything about all the taxes in Nigeria, you will find it there. The second one is Nigeria Tax Administration Act, and that one has to do with the procedure and the responsibilities, who does what. What's the responsibility of tax authority, what's the responsibility of individual, the government, and so on and so forth. We have Nigerian Revenue Service, which is the new name for Federal Inland Revenue Service. It was changed because the Nigerian Revenue Service will need to take care of all the revenues, not only tax revenue, including that of customs, custom revenue, Nigerian Immigration Service revenue, and all those federal agencies' revenue. And they have to share intelligence information with State Internal Revenue Service so that those who have been evading taxes will no longer have the opportunity. Then we have Joint Revenue Board. This one is just a body that organizes the relevant tax authority in Nigeria. The members are Nigerian Revenue Service, and it also draws members from all the state internal revenue services in Nigeria, including Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service. And we have the fifth one, which is not part of the law, but a regulation, deduction of tax at source withholding regulation 2024. This one clear gray areas. It was done by the minister, at least is one of the functions of the minister, that if we have gray areas in our tax laws, then let us know what, or clear and clarify certain gray areas so that everybody will understand, because the tax law that is not well understood by the members of the society will not go well for application. Then, let me now go into the nitty-gritty. I will not be able to touch all the areas you desire. I restrict myself to personal income tax because 35 minutes is not enough at all to talk about all the taxes in Nigeria. You may not even understand because of what it involves, but because State Internal Revenue Service, with which I work, administer personal income tax, that's why I have to restrict myself to it. And we have what is taxable. I bring this one forth because very many people have been telling you that when you have money in your account, tax authority will tax it. When you, any transaction will involve tax. No. The only three items that are taxable in the Nigerian tax law is the income or profit or gain. And it can be described as any of these three. Then it is taxable. Then profit, okay, we can have income from work. If you are an employee, salary, wages. We can have profit from business when you trade and you have extra revenue above what you bought. And gain can also be gotten when you have a land, you bought it in 2022 at the rate of 1 million naira, you sell it in 2026 at the rate of 5 million naira. So you have a gain of how much? So it's also taxable. Then income can come from your skill. For the professionals, any professional fee that you earn is also an income. You can have income from assets. I've explained when you buy an asset and you resell. Then if you have a building, it's an asset for you. You rent it out and you earn certain income. It's even an unearned income because you don't work for it at that moment, but you have that asset on ground. So any income you derive from your asset is also taxable. Then you have income from investment, like dividend that you are given, like interest that you earn when you invest your money in fixed deposit. Then everyday example, these are the things. Tailor, land of, land or house rent, house rent, land for house rent, sorry. Lawyer charging fee, landlord collecting rent. The takeaway is it's not just the big companies that are paying taxes. You as an individual must also pay tax except you fall within the threshold that is exempt. And what is taxable? That is, what is not taxable, sorry. I've mentioned what is taxable and we have seen the list, but not all your inflows are taxable. If you have 800,000 naira chargeable income or less, it is not chargeable in a year. So the deductibles, even if you are on employment, the law gives you the opportunity to remove certain portion of your income before the rest will be taxable. And National Housing Fund, National Health Insurance Scheme, pension contribution, rent relief, life assurance premium, and interest on owner-occupied loan. Interest on the mortgage, the loan that you took for the purpose of building a building that you intend to live in, not for commercial. Then gift is also not taxable. And donation to religious charitable organization is not taxable, like you give tithes to the church and you donate in the hand of the church is not taxable because it has been taxed in your hand before, and church is not for business. Then approved non-profit income, and certain government approved exemptions, like you have interest on bond. Before you buy the bond, they will have told you it is tax-free, just to encourage you to buy the bond as a form of investment, so that government can will be able to regulate the economy the way they like. Then there is this warning: if it becomes business-like, then it becomes taxable. Also, you try to avoid misrepresenting income as gift or donation, because intelligence will reveal and sanction will apply. If you are to declare certain income and you misrepresent it for gift or donation because you don't want to pay tax on it, when the tax authority gets you with intelligence, you will pay back that money with interest and penalty. Then who is taxable? Everybody who is into economic activities and who has income, profit, or gain are taxable. Individuals, whether you are a salary earner, you are a trader, you are artisan, once you earn that income in a year above the threshold of chargeable income of 800,000 naira or less, then business owners, small and large, if you are a director of a company, if you are a shareholder in a company, then you are part of those who own that company. And whatever you earn as income is also a subject of tax. We have professionals like lawyers, doctors, sophomores, consultants, and so on and so forth. Those who earn digital or online income, or freelancers, those who are on TikTok, those who are on Facebook, and they are earning from it. Definitely what they earn is income to them. They must pay tax on it. You remember a case of Pella in Lagos, when the State Internal Revenue Service has intelligence about him that he has been able to accrue income of not less than 196 million naira within a year. They sent a bill to him. Was it not 32 million naira? I've forgotten. People are shouting, but they will not know that the State Internal Revenue Service have done their background duty to get the income that is not feasible. You know, digital income is not feasible. It's in the internet. And as well, we have landlords. Every landlord, every rental income that the landlord collects is also a subject of tax, the artisan, and so on and so forth. Now, let's talk about tax ID. I wrote tax ID not TIN intentionally. It was tax identification number that we knew before, but effective from the last week of December, it changes name to tax ID. Tax identification number was 10 digits. Tax ID is 13 digits. You need to get tax ID for yourself as an individual. You must retrieve a tax ID for your business, any one of them. If you register your business with Corporate Affairs Commission, they have generated tax ID for every businesses. You can go to the website of Corporate Affairs Commission and go to public search. Search for your company. When it pop up, then you will see in the interface, you see get tax ID. Just click it, you see your tax ID. That's a means of getting tax ID for your business. You can also go to taxid.jrb as it is in the slide you are seeing. Now these are the at the right corner. Is the slide, is the projector. I will send the slide to Mr. Jimbas, then you will all get it. taxid.jrb.gov.ng. Again, taxid.jrb.gov.ng. So the interface is here. When you launch it on your browser, it will bring this exact interface. And below this man that is holding his phone, you see 3 categories of taxpayers: the individual, the corporate, and others. I've explained corporate. Corporate are those businesses that are registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. I've told you how you can get it, but these are an alternative means. For individual, just click this individual that you see at the left corner of the interface. Then it will demand that you supply your national identification number, NIN. Once you supply it, scroll down. It will prompt you to go to another page. That second page, it will require that you supply your first name, then your last name, then your date of birth, as it was used to register when you were registering for your NIN. Anything short of that, it will not come up with tax ID for you. But once you supply the actual first name, last name, and the date of birth, and it corresponds with what you use to register for NIN, automatically, within less than 2 minutes, you get your tax ID. For corporate, click corporate, then it will demand for the RC number. Once you input the RC number, that one is less than 1 minute. It will come up with the name of your company, your business, then with the tax ID below. But others, we have certain entities that are not registered with, which are not individuals, and they might not have registered with Corporate Affairs Commission, like cooperative societies, like mosque, like church, and so on and so on, because it's not all churches that are registered with CAC. So it means they are not digitally linked with this platform, because it is the State Ministry of Trade and Cooperative that register cooperative, and they are not digital right now, maybe in future. There is no way this link can verify the identity, but it now means that in each state, the Ministry of Trade and Cooperative will supply the data of those who have registered with the ministry historically to the State Internal Revenue Services. If you have a cooperative society, you want tax ID for it, you then have to proceed with your certificate of registration and your number, registration number, to the State Internal Revenue Service or Nigerian Revenue Service, whichever is closer to you, and they will register it for you after confirming that the identity is known, and so that the issue of money laundering and all these vices will not be attributable to an unidentifiable entity. Also, those who have schools that were registered with Ministry of Education that are not digital, that cannot be linked for verification, we also need to proceed to very many other organizations, like your landlord community, and so on and so forth. That orders belong to them. And it's very important for me to state that the tax ID is just like BVN that you have in bank. So every transaction that you do, your bank will tag it with tax ID, so that the tax authority will be able to confirm the essence of the transaction. Then we talk of types of business and tax authority. Any business that is not a limited liability company or PLC, public limited company, the tax authority is State Internal Revenue Service in the state where that business is located. And every other ones, you talk of business name, you talk of individual, an employee, sole trader, business name, partnership, all those ones are to go to the State Internal Revenue Service. That's their tax authority. However, talking of the companies that need to go to Nigerian Revenue Service, right? company include NGOs, cooperative societies, because anybody that stands on its own, their tax will be payable to Nigerian Revenue Service, not minding the fact that they are tax exempted. But cooperative income is not taxable, church income is not taxable, mosque income is not taxable. But the moment you leave the fundamental of cooperative, fundamentals of church, fundamentals of mosque, that is the ordinary course of business activities of all those non-profit making organizations, the moment you involve the church or mosque or cooperative in business, then the income earned from trade or business that you have done is a subject of tax assessment. So, personal income tax collection mechanism, because we are discussing personal income tax, is in four mechanisms. We have direct assessment, we have pay as you earn, withholding tax, and presumptive tax. Let me tell you that direct assessment is for sole traders, those who work on their own. But for pay as you earn, we all know if you are employed by any organization, they will pay you salary, and from that salary, they will have deducted tax before you are paying the net. Then we talk of withholding tax. If you engage the service of a professional, you must deduct withholding tax of 5% before you pay 95% to that professional. Then if you rent a house, before you pay your landlord, you must deduct 10%, remit it to the tax authority in the name of your landlord, and you pay 90% to the landlord. And no question will come. Will you agree with me that rental income you collect as a landlord is an income? And I told you taxes are levied on income, profit, or what? Gain. Thank you. That is the logic. So presumptive tax, there are certain set of people, especially in the operators of informal sector, who don't keep records. There is no way, they don't bank, like Vulcanizer, like Okada Man. It's just in recent time that when you want to board an Okada, some of them have OPay. You can transfer if you don't have cash. But most often than not, it is cash basis. So there are ways to tax them. We give them fixed amounts and to pay for the year. But the moment tax authorities suspect that an Okada man has a bungalow or a duplex in the GRA, then he has other sources of income. And for your information, I will have to tell you that if you have 12 sources of income, you must disclose all the 12. And this is, I've told you initially that I will pity myself whenever I go for presentation like this, because I sell bad products, as may be perceived. Let's go to direct assessment. This is the template. I've told you the annual income in this case is 45 million naira, and allowable expenses, rent and utilities, salaries and wages, ADFAT. If you have a business and all your income is 45 million naira, hypothetically speaking, you need to deduct all the expenses of the business before you get when you have the total deduction. In this case, it's 27,650,000 and so on. And depreciation is not allowed, but in place of depreciation, capital allowance is allowed. It's almost the same thing, but it's regulated by tax law. Fines and penalty, these are the ones that are not allowed. Depreciation you cannot deduct before you, the remaining profit will be subjected to tax, but you can deduct capital allowance. But before you do that, you must ensure that that asset exists, it can be seen, it has a value that is sustainable, and all other things that surrounds it before you be qualified for capital allowance. So after deducting all the expenses that are allowed, then the remaining amount will be subject to tax. Then let's go to pay as you earn. I've told you, if you are an employer, before you pay the balance to your employee, the net, you must deduct pay as you earn, you remit to government in the name of your staff, or if you fail to do that, the sanction applies, and you will see it in the later part of the presentation. Then, these are the components of the income that are taxable. Salary, that is basic salary, allowances of any kind, in as much as that allowance is for the purpose of spending by the individuals to make you, at least to help you to fulfill your financial commitment. Once it is useful for you personally, then it is taxable, except some few allowances like if you spend certain amounts in an hotel for the purpose of your business, if your employer send you on a course, maybe you have to go to Abuja for certain reason for the benefit of the business, and you are given certain allowances, or you have to rent hotel. When you get there, you go on board, then the flight fee, all those ones, you know it's not for your personal purpose, it's for the purposes of the business. All those allowances are not taxable. But all others, in as much as it is given for you for your personal benefit, they are taxable. Then you talk of benefits, like benefit in kind, like housing. If your employer gives you a building to live on, to live in, instead of you to pay rent, you are given free. The amount, the equivalent amount of rent is also part of your income, because that building is given to you for your use. Otherwise, if you are not given, you will spend the alternative, what do we call it in economics, in the elementary economics, alternative forgone is for you to do what? To rent a house. So the cost of that rent will be part of your income. If you are also given an official vehicle, 5% of it will be calculated to be part of the income that you earn. Then we have bonuses, and we have incentive, productivity allowance, and so on and so forth. But there are some deductions allowed, as I mentioned the other time. I don't need to go through this one again, the National Housing Fund and the rest. So, because I will still meet it, payee eligible deductions. You have pension. Before, the percentage is 8% of your income, and your employer will have 10%, making 18%. They will invest it. Then, when you become pensionable after retirement, you have access to your money. But it is only that 8% portion that was deducted from your income that will be subjected to, that is allowed as deductible. You won't pay tax on it. It's just that government encourage you to invest in what will sustain you after retirement. As well, National Health Insurance Scheme, that one is 5% of your gross salary, and it's just to take care of your health and the health of your family. We have National Housing Fund. That one is, in some cases, by law, by the act that set up a National Housing Fund, it is 1% of total income. But in some cases, total income includes salary and other allowances. But in some instances, the allowances are not regular, like productivity allowance. It is because it is when you work and you surprise your employer beyond what is expected that you be given. So in some organizations, they reduce it to 2.5% of basic housing and transport. Then assurance premium. If you have life assurance policy, the premium you pay is also deductible. Then rent relief. That is, this one is only for those who do not have a house of their own. You rent a house, government want to relieve you so that it is assumed that you are poor. That's why you rent a house. You don't have a building of yourself. So 20% of that rental fee that you paid, subject to maximum of 500,000 naira, will be allowed. Then, if you pay interest on mortgage, you want to build your own house, and you apply to maybe mortgage bank or any other bank to finance the house, they will charge you interest. That amount of interest, they will allow you to remove it from your income before your employer will assess the remaining to pay as you earn. However, if you don't have evidence for each and any of these eligible deductions, you will not be allowed. So employers should be very careful. If your employee do not have evidence for enrollment or for premium payment, do not allow the deduction to go off just like that, because tax authority will one time or the other audit or investigate your payroll system, and any amount that the employer failed to deduct will be paid by the employer with interest and penalty. So we talk of computation template. First 800,000 naira chargeable income is tax-free. So anybody who earn income of chargeable income of 800,000 or below in a year, this is a good one for the poor. But the moment it is more than 800,000 naira, this rate applies in these income bands. It is important for me to inform you that the tax rate of the hold is higher than the tax rate of the current time, and is marginally reduced. It's just to encourage those who are tax compliant, but it's a disincentive for those who have not been compliant, because right now everybody must pay. Let me also mention it that as an employee, if your employer deduct and remit your pay as you earn, and your employer has filed a return that contains your name, the new law, section 14, subsection 3 of Nigerian Tax Administration Act, now require that as an individual, you must also file your return to include the employment income that has been filed for you, and the tax deducted in form of pay as you earn, and including all other income that you have earned that your employer did not know about. And the deadline is 31st March of the following year. In a nutshell, you are as an individual, but this one applies. Filing must take place whether you are taxed, whether your income is more than 800,000 naira chargeable income or not. You must file. It's statutory. Failure to file, we will see the response of the law in the next few slides to come. So this is the computation of personal income tax. It's a pity you cannot see very well, but let me say for people who earn 800,000 naira, formerly, before this new reform, for anybody who earn 800,000 naira in a year must pay 36,400 naira. But now, you pay nothing if you earn less than 800,000 naira chargeable income. For anybody who earn 1 million naira, before now it was 54,000 naira on 1 million. And that is what percentage? 5.4%. But as of now, you are to pay just 24,000 naira. Has government done something reasonable? Okay. It is only when you earn 20 million naira annual income and above that the rate increase. indicating the fact that government is supporting the poor and the middle income earners, but expecting more from those who have to sustain the society. Then, withholding tax. These are the rates. If you earn dividend or interest in any form, the withholding tax is 10%. Royalty is 5%. Rent, hire or lease, 10%. If you are a landlord, I have told you, your tenant must deduct 10% from an amount to be paid to you, remit it to the government on your behalf. Using your tax ID, you must release your tax ID for your tenant. So, in the tax authorities database, once the remittance is done, they have confirmed that withholding tax of 10%, if it is 1 million naira rental income, then 100,000 will go to tax authority, 900,000 will come to you. Don't think it is lost. It is not. And as well, it is not another tax. It is the same personal income tax, direct assessment, which I first mentioned. But this is the logic. If you are due to pay 500,000 naira annual income next year, your income cannot be ascertained for this year until we spend January to December this year. Do you agree with me? Because now we are in March, just 3 months. You cannot determine how much you make in a year with 3 months income. It must be after 31st December. You will have earned all you want to earn, then you add everything together. But by the time you are to be subjected to tax assessment the following year, when you do your filing, and you are due to pay, you are assessed to pay 500,000 naira, you may not have the capacity because you will have spent all the money you have been earning. But if you, part of the income that bring the tax liability of 500,000 naira is that rental income that you got, which was 1 million naira. 100,000 naira has been deducted and paid on your behalf. That 100,000 naira will be deducted from the tax payable of 500,000 naira that you are due to pay. It reduces what? Your tax burden the following year. So you may still have other withholding taxes. If you are a lawyer, somebody engage you, your client, and from professional fee, whether lawyer, surveyor, architect, or whichever professional, if you are a professional and your client is paying you, they must deduct 5% from your professional fee. Then that as well, like I explained in the land matter, the rent matter, will reduce your tax exposure the following year. So that's the essence of withholding tax. Then we have director's fee is now 15%. Then entertainers and sports persons, and those who do reality show, any income they earn is also, by the time they are paying to them, they must deduct withholding tax. Winning from lottery, gaming, and reality show, okay, I've mentioned that. If you win lotto, you are a type that bets. Whatever you gain is an income. The withholding tax will be deducted from it at the rate of 5%. Then the following year, the total sum will be subjected to tax assessment, and the withholding tax that have been deducted will reduce your tax exposure. However, I think I need to say this, that a number of times, some people will say, after all, I don't earn up to chargeable income of 800,000 in a year, I don't need to pay tax. Then they will fail to do filing. No, everybody must file, whether you are due to pay tax or not. It is the tax authority that will review the information you submit in the course of filing with whatever tax third-party information that we can get about you, that the Nigerian Revenue Service will supply us, that we can get from Ministry of Land, that we can get elsewhere. We then reconcile it then we'll be able to communicate to you that, yes, you are exempted. But if we have additional information about you, we will say you are not exempted. I need to send this note that it's not a warning. I cannot warn you, but it's just an advice. There was a TikTok that I watched the other time. The lawyer did something for a business, and that business has an accountant. By the time the lawyer was telling the business, that is the business owner, that whenever they are to pay the lawyer, the legal firm, they must not indicate that they are paying professional fee, because the lawyer doesn't want 5% to be deducted from his income. But the business owner informed the accountant, but the accountant told him, no, it doesn't work that way. The accountant paid the money and deducted 5% withholding tax. The moment the lawyer saw the alert, he quickly called the accountant. Why did you narrated it as professional fee? After all, I've told your Oga, and the accountant told him that it doesn't work that way. How will a professional accountant who is certified, who is regulated by ICANN, how will he defend the fact that hospital bill was paid into a legal firm? Is it reasonable? And that's how intelligence works. And this is withholding tax exemptions. Manufacturer claims if you produce goods and you supply it, withholding tax is not due from you. But your distributor, if you give them discount, withholding tax applies. If you give them commission, you know when you buy goods from somewhere, they can give you commission. They regulate the price. Sell at 10,000 naira, but from that 10,000 naira, 500 naira is your commission. So, but if it is a manufacturer, you know, and manufacturer deliver the good to the distributor, it is the manufacturer that will give the distributor discount or commission. So nobody can deduct from the manufacturer's account. That's what it means. Then out-of-pocket expenses, I've mentioned it. When you are to go to Abuja, to Kano, anywhere, you have to spend money booking hotel, flight, and all those things. Withholding tax is not due from those. Then across the counter transaction, when you are going, you just park by the side of the road, you buy something from somebody. That is not a supply, because supply of certain higher value, if it's more than 2 million naira worth of supplies, it is withholding tax applies. Then, except income claims, there are some income that are exempted by law. Then, many of these need to be properly supported with what? Documentary evidence. Anything you do, you know, very many people in the social media platform, they will tell you, you just have to do narration when you transfer money to somebody. Narration is not enough. You know, I've told you the case of the lawyer that said, narrate it that you are paying hospital bill to me, to a lawyer. Is a lawyer an hospital? So that's why narration will not be enough. But whatever transaction you are doing, please, I beg, make sure you have documentary evidence to support. If your uncle sent to you from abroad, at least you can engage, you can exchange mail that will show at so time it was discussed with him that you want to help him to build a house in Nigeria. If he's sending to you, there must be communication prior to that transfer. And send a mail to the person. By the time the tax authority now say, where is your evidence? You know, email has timestamp, right? Date and the particular time the communication was made. If it corresponds, yes, the tax authority will relieve you. Then, withholding tax compliance flow, when you have a transaction, make an invoice. Check if withholding tax applies. If it applies, deduct. Pay net to the person and remit either 2%, 5% or 10% that you deducted to the relevant tax authority with the tax ID of the beneficiary. Then you issue credit note to that person. This is the receipt of the money I deducted and remitted to you. So that person will be able to take that receipt to the tax authority the following year that I've paid an advance payment. Then you file. Then we have filing of returns, and for direct assessment. I think I explained what direct assessment means the other time. Now everybody must file for direct assessment. You must file on or before 31st March of the following year. For the special purpose of 2025, you are supposed to have filed on or before 31st of March, that is ending next week. But, you know, we are repurposing our digital platform. For electronic filing, as is even dictated by law. And we will give extension because we are just beginning. This is the first year of implementation of Nigerian tax reform law. Then for pay as you earn, you have to file monthly, you have to file annually. Or for monthly, 10% of the following month. If you deduct last month, 10th of this month, you must have filed. Then if it is annual, you must file on or before 31st January of the following year. So, and withholding tax is monthly and must be on or before 30th of the following month. If you deduct last month, on or before 30th of this month, you have to file. Then, this is the digital platform of the Oyo State Internal Revenue Service. You have to register with your tax ID. But because very many, or not everybody have tax ID right now, we are still using state tax identification number. So you need to register. You can do it yourself. The platform link is selfservice.oyostatebir.com. Self-service written together .oyostatebir.com. If you launch that into your browser, it will bring this interface. You can register yourself. Then, if you want to, the second one is access your personal page. You want to file, you want to upload your schedule, you want to request for tax clearance certificate, everything you want to do, you do it through this menu. Then you can make payment online, you can verify payment, you can verify your assessment, and you can verify tax clearance certificate if it is genuine. Then we have offenses. If you don't have tax ID, it's in section 100 of Nigerian Tax Administration Act. First month, you will be fined 50,000 naira and 25,000 naira in subsequent months. We have, the new law has become operational since January this year. If you don't have tax ID in January, up to this moment, then you will be fined 50,000 naira for January, 25 for February, 25 for March. So I've given you the link to retrieve your tax ID. Please, for you to live here today, ensure that you retrieve your tax ID, and for your businesses, and you assist any other person that is very close to you to do this thing. I have time constraint. Maybe you asked during the question. So if you don't file returns, it's in section 101. 100,000 naira for the first month, 50,000 naira subsequent month. So if you don't file your return in 31st, on or before 31st March this year, if it is not extended, I've told you it's going to be extended. This is the first year. If it is not extended, then by April, you will be fined 100,000 naira. May, June, July, until you file 50,000 naira. If you don't have If you don't keep records, then you will be fined 10,000 naira for individual and 50,000 naira for business. If you are to deduct withholding tax and you fail to do that, then you pay 40% interest, and you still pay that withholding tax. So anytime you rent a house, make sure you deduct 10%. But there are situations whereby your landlord will say, no, you can never deduct my money, right? And you like that location, you don't want to lose it. Just make sure that you have correspondence that you can rely on. Not SMS, but write to him or send WhatsApp message, anything that can be electronically traceable. So you then file a return to include that communication. Once we have the person's identity, the tax authority will pursue it and get the money. Then if you deduct and you don't remit, you pay 10% interest. 10%, what do we call it? Penalty, thank you. And interest rate at the prevailing central bank monetary policy rate. Then, dispute resolution. One good thing about this new tax reform law is that it gives taxpayer also right to do certain things. If you are not, if the service of the Internal Revenue Service or that of Nigerian Revenue Service is not desirable to you, or they are demanding bribe from you, or you are treated one way or the other that you don't like, then you can approach, for your state Internal Revenue Service, you can obtain our grievance redress mechanism form. Fill it, we will invite you. You may not even need to come, but in some cases, if it requires, we see you for good interaction, we'll call you, then we resolve the issue dispassionately, without passion for revenue. Then we have tax ombuds. The low-income earners who cannot afford to go to court can visit the office of tax ombud. It's free. You present your case, and they will represent you like, what does the Ministry of Justice do? There is an office. Legal aid, thank you. It's just like that. Those who work there are paid by federal government, but they are independent-minded. They are professional. Then the final option is for you to go to tax appeal tribunal, and that is the smallest court for tax purpose. So we have listened and we have heard, and I believe we cannot exhaust everything, but the little I was able to deliver, I think is going to go an impressive distance, at least to impact your income, your understanding, and your businesses. So I am hoping for question engagement. So at these material times, at least I've been given a message to control the time. So I thank you for listening, and I appreciate you for the invitation.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for Mr. Lickman. Thank you very much, sir. Even me, I thought I know everything about this tax thing. Now I've seen some new things this morning. In fact, I never knew that the burden of you also filing is also on you, the receiver. So that's a new thing. Thank you very much. Though we apologize for starting a bit late, but I think we've been able to cover some grounds, and we've learned new things. So this is a time for question and answers. So if you have questions, just raise up your hand. We'll take it sequentially. Okay. So we'll give ourselves number. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then 10. Okay, so we'll start from number 1.
Thank you very much once again, sir, for that insightful presentation. Please, the first one on the documentary evidence. I just want you to clarify 2 things for me. As a professional, we work with some banks. they deduct withholding tax from fees, but they don't give us receipts. When you're talking about documentary evidence, what alternative can you embark upon to retrieve the receipts from them? Do you have?
Kind of service do you end up?
I mean, legal practitioners, we do cases for them, and they pay us professional fees, and they deduct withholding tax, but they don't give us receipts. Secondly, about still the documentary evidence on rent. If your landlord gives you a receipt showing the full annual rent that you have paid, I think that should suffice as documentary evidence. In case of withholding tax, your landlord has given you a receipt acknowledging full payment being paid to the landlord. I think that should suffice as documentary evidence without much ado, particularly when you want to show that the landlord collected the full rent without deducting the withholding tax.
I understand your question.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe we should take 2 or 3, then you answer together. Number 2.
Thank you. Let me not thank you again. They have thanked you before. I have listened to this type of seminar about 3 times. I am having a great appreciation of the one that I have just had. You made mention of the fact that if it looks like business, then it is business. I am a farmer. I have a business name, not a limited liability company, a sole proprietorship. And I sell eggs. I sell chicken. Most of our transactions are not things that we issue receipt for. And some of my customers pay directly to my bank account. Not my name, but my business name, which has an account with my bank. I am not bothered. Some pay to the account, some give me cash, which sometimes I ordinarily go and pay into the bank. And of course, too, I buy feeds, I buy drugs, and so on and so forth. Most of these things are off the counter things. No invoice issued in most cases, no receipts taken in most cases. And you said if it looks like business, then it is business. My worry now will be, I think you know my worry. So let me keep quiet from there.
Thank you, sir. Number 3. Who is number 3?
Thank you, sir. Like my landlady now, she's a woman above 90, I think 93 now. And she's an Ijebu woman. So I don't know how I will remove 10% from Mama's rent. Because any little thing, Mama will say, Ela Kojade. And I'll spend so much in that property. I'm not ready to move now. There's no how I can remove withholding whatever from Mama's money. That one is number 1. And it's certain. So what do I do in that case? And secondly, I read somewhere that for a limited liability company, I can pay, the deadline for my tax filing is after 6 months, at the end of the business year. Oh, financial year. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Should we limit that? Okay. All right, sir. So number 4, get ready.
Yeah, Barrister, I appreciate your question. The responsibility for withholding the percentage is statutory. And when you work for the bank and they deduct your withholding tax, if they have not been issuing credit notes before, I know bank is a very much well-regulated entities in Nigeria and beyond. demand for it, they understand, and they will going forward, start issuing withholding tax credit notes for you. Then full payment to the landlord, it is not the responsibility of the landlord to deduct, it is the responsibility of the tenant. If the tenant fails, I told you the duty is statutory. If the tenant fails without evidence that the beneficiary rejects or disagree, then the tax authority, going by the provision of the law, can recover the withholding tax from the tenant. So the landlord, this is the logic. The landlord may not do the filing to include that he collected rental income. Even if he does, the law still requires that the tenant must deduct and remit. Whatever will make you not to be able to fulfill that obligation, you have to show evidence. Then it looks like business, no record kept. The new tax reform law is tending everybody towards, is tending Nigeria to even make informal businesses to be formal. And if you have not been keeping all those records, they are very much useful for you when it comes to tax filing, tax audits, tax investigation. If you don't have evidence, documentary-wise, it is assumed that you have not expended all those expenses. So I think it's not a rocket science. You can start building documents around all your transactions so that you'll be able to, it's even go beyond tax matter. If you have any case, barrister can confirm to me, can most likely agree with me. If you have case in court and there is an issue of, what do they call it, when somebody said I was not in that place, when the alibi, thank you very much, sir. Law would have been my best course, but it was unfortunate. So if you have certain documents at least to show for it, it will within limited time be better for you than for you to say, yes, I was not there, but there's nothing to prove. So it's going beyond the tax matter. So you have to keep records effective from January 1 this year if you don't want to run foul of. So landlady, Yajesa. I think withholding tax on rent has been a dead letter law historically. It has been part of the law since, I think, 2004, when the Personal Income Tax Act was made. But because it is an income that millions of people in Nigeria are collecting, but they will never declare it, and that's why the new tax reform laws make it compulsory. Now, the new thing that will force people to do that is just that I told you earlier on that NRS will be sharing, all banks will be delivering reports of transactions to Nigerian Revenue Service. They will be sharing it with State Internal Revenue Service. So there's no way you can claim that you didn't hand the transaction that flow into your account. And that's why we need to be a bit careful. If Yajesa did not allow you to do, work around it to have documents with Yajesa, I believe you can do it. And I think it's going to be better for you. Yeah. Next question.
Thank you very much, sir. Before the next set of questions, for Barrister Ademidun, sir, banks have been keeping record of those filings, but just that people don't ask. So I've seen my customers come to ask when they want to file their final annual tax to say, you deducted several withholding taxes from me. So can you please give me a receipt for that? And they will issue. The ones they filed on your behalf, they will give you the certificate that we filed on your behalf and all those things. So banks have been issuing them. And I think from this first set of questions, what is evident is the fact that we now need to deal with record keeping, which is very essential. There's a way you can generate record and keep record of your business. Do you understand? And then, in those days we used to have what they call manual cash ledger, where when you are doing transaction that has no receipt, you are recording with date, with amount, with narration and all those. So if you keep those records and you keep it for 1 year and you show a tax man, there's no way it will look like you are lying, because it's not something you just generated. They will see that it's a sequence of your transaction and it aligns with all your bank statements and transactions in your bank. So there are ways around it. So I think for us in Seminar Team, we'll focus now on record keeping, maybe for another 1 month or 2 months. So question number 4, please.
So thank you very much, Mr. Jimba. He's my lawyer here.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your time. I have 3 questions. Number 1, so this, that individuals will file personal income. Yeah, I think I heard it one time, but I thought maybe it's fake news or something. So today is March 28th, sir.
Yes.
I don't think there's anybody in this room that has done that. So I want you to explain that in details. And I also want to know why the government wants us to go through a very rigorous exercise like that. That's number 1. Number 2, you said, oh, okay, yeah, they will check your income. Oh, they will check. We should be careful of narrations. Oh, your salary. So let's say we have 5 million people in Oyo State, sir. Are you people going to be checking every individual's account one by one and say, oh, this is the amount that will enter your account, this is the amount that you are able to, or you will generalize it? I want you to shed light on that. Number 3, sir, the same way you put pressure on us to say that, oh, you must do this one, you must file this one. When we pay the tax, are you going to also ensure that the money is used appropriately for what it's meant for? And that when I pay the tax, the road to my house will be fixed, and there will be power, and there will be light. Or you are just interested in us paying us tax. Meanwhile, you will tell us on the other side that, don't worry, everything is okay. These are my 3 questions, sir.
Yeah, sir, there are 3 in 1 question. Please kindly allow me to respond to that. I think before I started, I said we need to be dispassionate. That's how we can get something reasonable from this discussion. What the light you are talking about, I'm living in Ibadan. I have a house. What is happening to you is happening to me. So next time when you are, I don't want to talk politics. I'm a professional. All I can say is that when you tell them, whenever people come, we are truly PRO for government. Whatever government do, we will tell you. What he has not done, then there are ways we report that people need this thing, and that's part of our duty. But it's never my duty to answer question on how money is expended. This is tax authority, generate revenue. Whenever the executives are having Labe Odan or all these programs which allow people to ask questions, definitely you have every right to ask such questions. Having the light is a Nigerian problem, and I think it's going to be solved not by professionals in tax administration, but by those who are ruling us. Then 5 million people, that's not in Oyo State, I agree. But we don't go to everybody at once. We have schedule. Now we are trying to ensure that for everybody to be touched, we will model our operations so that we give certain number of taxpayers to a relationship officer. Then he will be covering them one after the other. It is on that day that you have information from tax office, maybe into your email address or to your WhatsApp or to the portal that will be created for you when you register. Then that is when it comes to your turn. But the law gives room for tax authority to go back 6 years. So if you have been owing 6 years and nobody has been disturbing you, it may be in the 5th year, and that is going to be grievous. So I advise that to the extent that to which we understand, we should try to comply early and forget about it. Then you also ask question about if the rigorous nature of filing. That's why it is made electronic. You don't need to go to tax office, log in after registration, after your profiling. You can always upload whatever income information that you have into the place. When they are to give you assessment, they will they send it to your portal. They will also send it to your mail. You can get a professional person, a consultant, a tax consultant, if you cannot address it by yourself. But I've even told you that to lessen the burden, even if you don't have enough to go to court, you can approach tax ombuds to solve the problem. And you know, there's nothing that is perfect. Nigeria is moving. Electronic transactions is making things easier. And the fact remains that if we check our database before January 1, I don't want to be statistical, but we have been, because of this new tax law, those who have not been paying taxes in the informal sector are more than those who are in our tax net. So as a result, government need to move. But the onus lies on me and you. Challenge government when it's necessary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. To buttress that point, I had something to do with Lagos Inland Revenue Service in the course of the week. When I got to the office, they occupy a 7-story building. If you see the hall, if you see the number of staff that they have that are reviewing files, you'll be marveled to see these people will cover 20 million people. It's like a hall, it's like market hall. Everybody has a table, computer, everything, and they are checking files. So this thing is actually real. And in our church today, I know a number of ladies that are now taking employment with Oyo State Inland Revenue Service, even people that you know, that are the first one that will submit your name. Bishop.
Thank you, sir. I don't know whether to call you Mr. Tax Educator or Mr. Matthew in the scriptures. You started your presentation with Bible verses. We should pay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Caesar has responsibility to his subjects. Nigerians are wonderful people. Nigerians are not difficult to obey rules and laws. You've talked so much about penalties. Penalties. You don't do this one, that one. You are the feedback to the government. You know the literacy level of this society. The platform you gave just now, I checked with my NIN. They gave me a code that my name is not correct. And I'm well over 60. I cannot retrieve the tax ID as you just gave it right now. I did it, it's not going through. There are bottlenecks from the government end. And you want the taxpayers to comply. You set the rule. You set the penalties. You've done the beautiful things as if we are in continental Europe or we are in the United States. But did you think, what is the motivation for me as a citizen of this country? I've been paying, I'm paying. The last 2 months, anybody from Ologweru here, light has not blinked. 2 months. What is the motivation? That is the question my brother Ibikunle just asked. For me now, To take, I've been buying fuel, it's only me. I marry with my wife. I marry my wife with my money. In pregnancy, private. Primary school, nursery. Secondary school, university. We've trained 3 graduates. No support from the government. Now it's paying. If you don't pay 100,000, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, beautiful. What is the rationale that will make me? I think in the 70s, when I was in primary school, they said there is no school fees. Probably it is 3 pence then or 3 shillings. But all the books, till now, have not benefited anything from the government. Your presentation is wonderful, but how do you want to motivate the citizens to pay to Caesar?
Thank you. Your number, what, sir? 5, 6. Sorry, please, for time's sake, let's limit our questions, and let's not ask questions that have been asked before. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mustafa. You've done justice to the tax reform law. My question is, when you were presenting, you made mention of the e-payment platform of Oyo State Internal Revenue Service. I'm a consultant, and I want to know how effective that platform is, because like recently, I have a client that is resident in Abuja. We provided service for them, and they want to, they deducted withholding tax from our fee. They wanted to pay online. Now, because they don't, their style or price, they don't issue check. They wanted to make transfer to Oyo State Internal Revenue Service e-platform. They tried, we gave them the code. I have to call Alhaji Saka, and he gave us, they tried. At the end of the day, they couldn't make that payment through so at the end of the day, they have to make payments to, I think, to Lagos, since we have office in Lagos too. But the withholding tax is actually supposed to be remitted to Oyo State because we needed it to offset our partners' tax liability when by the time we apply for their TCC. That's number. I want to hear from you now. How effective is that? Then the second one is not a question per se. You mentioned the new provision in this act that every individual, probably employee or trader, must file tax returns on or before 31st March ahead of the year following the year of probably the transaction. Now, like someone mentioned the other time, this, Oyo State needs to make, or revenue, be it federal or state, needs to make awareness. You heard this, my brother, mentioned the other time that he wants to believe that almost everybody in this room have not filed that in. The awareness is not there. I know that law is not new. It has been in the law. It's just that this new tax reform act modified it and made it mandatory. Do you get it? Because people believe with the employees, they believe by the time their employers file returns on their behalf, that's fine now. You mentioned it, and that's how it's supposed to be. By the time you want to apply for your tax clearance certificate, you are expected to go to the revenue, file your individual returns, and ensure that your global income, aside from the salary that your employer has deducted and remitted PAYE on, is disclosed. I know Lagos State has been doing that before now, but your state has not been. So, and I know all revenues have NRS and State Internal Revenue Service, they have cost of collection. So they should make awareness, and the informal sector needs to be sensitized too, so that it's not the only salary earners that you focus on. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
can I respond?
Let's take the number 7 so that I can now respond. Who's number 7?
I don't want to forget.
Thank you, Mr. Mustafa. I'm really blessed. My question is not much. I just want you to help me to share more light on this. It's based on the new tax reform law Act 2025, which says
Okay.
every organization, every maybe limited liability company, that their annual income is not up to 50 million naira. So they are exempted from paying tax. That's one. Okay. And number two is, which business or which organization is exemption from paying tax?
Okay.
Because the reason why I say that is, I have a company, I registered in 2013, Kerem Law Farm Limited. But yesterday, one thing or the other came up. There's a particular account that I run in the bank. So it got to a certain time that the account is dormant. And now later push some funding to the account. So on getting to the bank to do normal thing when my account is dormant. So they now asked me that, your thing, I said, this is the thing that I've been using ever since I registered the company in 2013. I said, I need to visit the Everest and do certain things. So having done that, I got my tax ID. So, but someone is still telling me that with this tax ID, I still need to do certain things. They now give me bill of like almost 745,000. I say, this company, I'm just trying to.
That's
this is agricultural.
Nigerian Revenue Service.
Yes. So
I understand your question.
I'm not clear. Please help me to share more light on it.
Okay. So
Thank you.
I think I can provide answers to you. In the first instance, Daddy, I want you to identify me as a friend of the church. I am saying this because Oyo State Internal Revenue Service do not know that I'm here today presenting to you. I'm here in my capacity as an invitee by some members of the church who knows me. And as a tax administrator, there is no way I can talk that will not reflect regulatory instinct, posture. Thank you. Because I'm here to advise. And you raised very many things. But let me address the one that is germane to tax operation, tax ID retrieval. I mentioned it before, the last time I was presenting, that if you give the first name or last name of date of birth that is not compliant with what is contained in the NIN database, you may not get it. It is not at all difficult to retrieve a tax ID. It has been generated for everybody, not that you are generating this time around. But there are cases when people who have issue with NIN, if you have issue with NIN office, you can never generate tax ID. You have to go and resolve that issue first, then you fall in. So, and you are talking of electricity that's not available and all these other things. I think somebody has a similar question, and I think I have said it that, one, a friend of the church, two, I can answer questions on how taxes are administered, but how the revenue is used. I think the Minister of Finance or Commissioner for Finance or Commissioner for Works or those in that realm, you can ask them those questions and they will be able to tell you what me I don't know about. And the other question, sir, I agree with you that Oyo State, I'm saying this in my own personal capacity, sir. Mr. Adeleke, right? Mr. Babatunde, sorry. I can recall we met at Icon Ibadan district. I can recall. Oyo State, sincerely speaking, throughout this last week that just ended, I was on the neck of our technical partner. In the next few days, all those things you will see differences. And it's because when you have technical partner, you have to monitor them. We are doing things that will make our platform better and robust. Because before now it was not a law, but now technology is part of the law. So then talk of withholding tax that they are to remit from Abuja, but because of issues surrounding it, I know such things happens. But any other time you have such issue, please don't hesitate to communicate me. That's my phone number. Then concerning, you know, my brother, when you register a business, there are certain responsibilities you have to do. If it's a limited liability company, you have to file every year. If you abandon that filing, I told you, even I read it, that non-filing will attract 100,000 naira first month, 50 in subsequent months. Maybe you have abandoned filing over time, and it has been accumulating up to 700 and something. Go and resolve it with them. You can see me after the presentation business. I will assist and ask you to go to somebody who will resolve it for you at very minimal. So which question I have not thank you very much. Thank you. I didn't dwell so much on that because I presented on personal income tax, but it's a very good question. It's not even 50 million. Annual turnover is 100 million. If your business has 100 million annual turnover means sales, or less, you are exempted. Truly, in the Nigerian Tax Act, we have 50 million. In the Nigerian Tax Administration Act, we have 100 million. But it has been resolved that when government make laws and there is contradiction, right, the court will rule in favor of the taxpayer in that regard. So the taxpayer will be at the liberty to choose. So, but it has been resolved, even according to Taiwo Oyedele, the chairman of the Reform Committee, that is now State Minister for Finance. So it's 100 million naira. So if your turnover is less than 100 million naira in a year, in a financial year, your income is exempted as a limited liability company. But there is one other leg to it. If your annual turnover is less than 100 million naira, or if your total fixed asset is not up to 250 million naira, so you have to note it. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So there are some people online on YouTube streaming, and they've asked some questions. So I'll take them one after the other. Good morning, sir. Please shed more light on tax payment plan and requirement for business name registration compared to a limited liability company. I don't know if it's
tax
purview. Tax payment plan.
Okay.
So I don't know what that person means. Maybe you understand. Now the second question says, I have tried to remove tax from my rent this year, just like Mrs. Yajebu is saying, but my landlord increased my rent immediately. It's a double jeopardy. So any advice for such person? Another question says, if I sell a building, how much is my tax to government? Okay. Okay, all right. Okay. So the one that says, I try to remove tax from my rent, my landlord increases rent immediately. Any advice for that person?
Sincerely speaking, I understand this is Nigeria, and whatever happens to us in Nigeria, we cause it. I facilitated for Nigeria Institution of Valuers and Estate Surveyors, and at that, immediately thereafter, one of them has a facility he is managing. He was given, so he quickly went to inform the tenant that the tax law now says 10% must be deducted. You have to start adding 10%. But the provision of the law does not says that you must include that 10%. It is not value-added tax. If it is value-added tax, you had 7.5%. But we know this kind of problem will occur. This is the teething period of the implementation of the law. And you will agree with me, those who are well accustomed with Lagos state government nature. The issue on rent is even beyond withholding tax in Lagos. I think it has been adjusted that rent must be taken on monthly basis. Certain problem led to that decision. So, and I think with passages of time, that will also be resolved.
Okay, thank you very much. So this next one says, if I sell a building, how much is my tax to government?
If he sells
a building, how much is the tax to government?
Oh, okay, thank you. If he sells
a building, so I think this person has a property.
I understand. I understand. Yeah. I told you the very first slide that is operational was that 3 elements of transactions are taxed. I said income, profit, and gain. If you bought a property, you have a cost for it. If you sell it, you have a selling price. The gain will be selling price minus cost price and minus all incidental expenses. So, but before now, in the legacy law that ended in 31st December, you just deduct 10% capital gains tax. Capital gains tax, because it's regarded as capital gain. It's a gain. And you pay 10% and that's final tax. But right now, it has been subsumed into the income tax. You don't deduct 10% capital gains tax again. Capital gains tax does not exist any longer. That gain, you add it to the income to be declared the following year. It will form part of it and it will be assessed accordingly.
Okay, thank you. Now, number 7. Or is it number 8? Number 8. Yeah, also the number. So, sorry, I think she wants to ask, you wanted to ask something earlier. Are you still?
Thank you so much, sir. Well, I want to ask this question about knowing the real tax agents, because we have issues with these people. They will tell you that they are from Oyo State, as in different agents coming to you to tell you that they are from Oyo State. Even though you have done the right thing, you have cleared your tax and then you have done the needful, they will still come to you and then, you know, making. So how do we actually know the real one?
Thank you.
Then the second one is, as a civil servant, my tax is being deducted from the source. If I leave the service, do I still continue with that tax ID? Do I still need to be paying tax on that aspect of my civil servant? You know,
pension income.
Pension. Is also there is tax on pension?
No. No, I just want to understand what you mean.
Okay, if I leave that service.
I understand your question.
So, no, is there any?
Don't worry, I will.
Okay, what I'm asking is, now that there is a individual whatever tax, am I still going to be using that
tax
ID for my civil? I mean, my civil servant. Now that I'm a retiree,
yes,
whether voluntarily or whatever.
Thank you. If I liken it to how BVN operates, then it answers the question. When you are in service, you have a BVN. When you leave the service, will the BVN change? It won't. So when you retire, you will take your gratuity right, it's tax-free. You will take your pension on a monthly basis, it's tax-free. But if you earn any other income other than gratuity and pension income, it's going to be. That one is not income, it's a gift. But there must be documentary evidence, I told you the other time. Because if documentary evidence is not required, every Dick and Harry will do narration to show it is not income, profit, or gain.
But each
I told you the other time that, sir, I told you the other time, we are in church, right? If this church today leave the church fundamental and start trading with church money or doing business, tax will be that reward, that income, profit or gain will be subject to tax. So, your question, if you infect your gratuity and you then earn income, it is the income that is taxable, not your gratuity.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, the new tax reform law has done great to solve that problem. We have very many tax consultants. We have non-state actors demonstrating themselves to be consultant to the state or to the local government. But the law now says that now, if we were to collect, before now, consultant may be given targets. We don't want to know how much you generate. Just bring 30 million naira in a month. You know that particular consultant will want to go beyond ordinary, and he will be revenue conscious instead of being professional. And you know we are in political era. A number of people who come as consultants are not professionals in tax administration or tax practice. But the law is resolving it such that you agree with me if you have ever seen the resolution of Joint Revenue Board in January this year, that no road block must exist any longer. But you know this is a transition period. Before those things becomes effective, some people have been going all out, getting money into their personal pockets, right? And the system is now changing. You know they are going to resist. But government, it will take some time for government to deal with them, then things will become normal. We can never record 100% normalcy, right? But we have a law that is going to Oyo State House of Assembly, which will state taxes and levies approved list for collection. Anything outside that list, if anybody comes to you, you can confidently say that this is not contained in the list, I'm not paying. And if you have any further issue, you can contact us at Oyo State Internal Revenue Service. We are going to resolve it. And also, to buttress the point, there is a policy right now. You know, federal government has its own revenues, and state has its own, local government also has its own. There is a bill sent by Joint Revenue Board to every state of the Federation, and that's the bill that contains the list I'm talking about. And if it is passed, they want all the states to pass it. If it is passed, local government revenue is part of the revenue that states will be collecting on their behalf. So it will reduce state coming to you, local government again coming to you. But whatever revenue in aggregate that the state is able to collect for the local government, after deduction of cost of collection, the balance will be remitted to the local government. So local government people will also no longer be coming to you.
I trade crypto. And for some time now, crypto has been in a serious loss. Let's say tomorrow I'm in need of like $1,000 and I decide to sell my crypto assets.
How do I prove to you that I'm selling at a loss? I did not make profit, even if the money is like millions of naira. Then the third part of it is, I personally, I do daily contribution with people. Let's say all of us here, we run money together. I coordinate it. So the money cannot flow in cash because people are in different places. It's usually a small amount of money. But then, money comes to my account every day. And I pay it out. People target contribution. But by the time you see the inflow and outflow, how do I keep saying it that this money I'm paying out on daily basis is not my money?
Good question.
Then the fourth one is, I run an escrow group.
Let me answer those three so that you ask four before, because I don't have so much retentive memory. My sister, crypto is found within digital economy, and I think I mentioned it the other time. I was trained in tax administration on digital economy. Right now, I'm the officer in charge, Digital Economy Compliance Unit. You know, it's just imagine. If you sell in loss, we are trained to navigate the platform and we will know. If you sell in gain, in profit, if you buy dollar in the last 3 weeks at a rate, if the rate appreciates and you sell, you know you have made gain. So don't worry. If assessment is given to you, you will have every opportunity within 30 days to object if it is not representative of what you make. So, but you have to file, including your digital income. Even if you make loss in digital space, right? That loss can reduce the tax that will be borne out of your traditional income. You understand? Just ensure that the platform you operate in, it's not your responsibility. We can navigate it and get something out of it. So if you record loss, we will treat it as loss that is deductible from your total income before the rest is taxed.
Thank you, sir.
The other question. Sir? Any amount. What we tax is income, profit, or gain that is derived from that. Any amount. Any amount.
Okay, thank
Once
you.
It is income, profit or gain.
Then
the other question, insurance. I mentioned it while I was presenting. Life assurance premium. And you give them receipt for the premium paid, right? And they must present it. That was what I said while I was presenting. But your first question.
That's the first one.
Which question have I not asked?
Ajo contribution.
Ajo, thank you. My sister, are you registered to collect Ajo? I understand.
Are you registered?
If you have not registered, go and register. You will have a business for it, separate from your personal. You open an account in the name of that business. Then government will understand you are into a job or contribution or whatever nomenclature. Then that will give you the opportunity to claim that money is not yours. And because I told you narration is not enough, taxman may go extra mile. And if anybody just send to you, very many people can borrow from you and say, if you are sending to me, just write contribution. Tax income will no longer be available if everybody do that. And you know there is a serious level of distrust in Nigeria today. For avoidance of that, of problems, go and register that you want to do a job or contribution. Any money, open account in the name of that business. So I think it services.
So you should just note that he said if it looks like a business, it is a business. Next question.
Thank you, sir. I do a business that the Lagos State government asks us to do registration. Registration. First of all, I want to ask, is books business taxable?
Book?
Yeah. Then,
Can you explain?
now, we sell books to school. Now, in Lagos, 4 years ago, I paid tax, and they generated tax ID for me, for you to sell books to schools in Lagos. Can I use that as a tax identity card? Because I'm resident in Ibadan. But even if they ask us now to come and pay again, you understand me? So that is what I want a clarification on that.
Okay, 2 questions, right? If you sell books, selling books.
Okay, so let me amplify what my pastor is saying.
Okay.
He's a publisher. He sells books across states.
Okay.
So he's resident in Ibadan. He does business in Lagos, he does in Kano, and all those other places. So what he's saying is, the tax ID he has in Lagos, can he use it also in Oyo State?
I understand.
And also other states like that.
The tax
Did I
ID
get
you are
it, sir?
talking about, when was it generated? Thank you very much. I told you the other time, before this new tax reform law, every state has their own tax ID. And it brings problem when you operate in Oyo State and you go to Zamfara, they will give you another state tax ID. When you go to Enugu, they will give you another state tax ID. But the tax ID I'm talking about right now is nationally uniform. If you have it in one place, then it's useful in very many other places. So if you are a resident in Oyo State, your tax is due to be paid to Oyo State. Anywhere in Nigeria where you sell book and they deduct withholding tax they want to remit, if they are remitting, it cannot go to any other state than the Oyo State where you are resident. Then you have value for your money, and you'll be able to present those withholding tax when you have a final tax assessment. Your withholding taxes will reduce them. Then selling book as a publisher, right? If you produce a book, you give it to a publishing house, they will be deducting what we call the royalty, and they will be remitting the withholding tax on your behalf, just like I've explained. The following year, that withholding tax will form part of what will reduce your. But selling book is not taxable, but the income, profit, or gain from that economic endeavor is what is taxable, and it's an annual thing. But withholding tax that will be deducted on monthly basis when transaction occurs will be useful to reduce the burden when the aggregate tax is to be deducted.
Sorry, Jimmy. Sorry.
The same tax, no, you generate another tax ID from the platform. And whenever you are demanded to give your tax ID, it is that tax ID that you will give. And it will show that it was retrieved, and to show that you are resident in Oyo State. If they are, if, you know, there is going to be a central platform that will include the data of all the state internal revenue services and that of Nigerian Revenue Service. So no state will claim the money that will go to another state henceforth. Sadly.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So this is
the same thing in Oyo State. Maybe you came late. We are, if you are profiling yourself in our platform, it is Oyo State thing, because not everybody has retrieved their tax ID. And Joint Revenue Board that is in charge of the database, we need API integration with them, such that when you input your tax ID in our database, it will verify. Because if there is no verification, wrong tax ID will be used by different people. So pending that time, every state in Nigeria today are still using their state team, pending the time when Joint Revenue Board will give everybody API integration with the database.
Thank you, sir. Our time is fast spent. We'll take the last set of questions.
Last set,
yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. The first one, you have answered it partially, but I just want to raise it. An instance where the landlord is not resident in Oyo State, for instance, withholding charge, since tax is residential, will it be made to Oyo State or the state of residence of the landlord? Then there was the issue of approved list of taxes. Does this affect all these area boys that stay on the road demanding money from bike men and all of that? Then the last one is one that I have a personal issue on: land use charge. Land use charge is charged for use of land, but we've seen instances where the government will bring bill, and the bill will take into consideration the valuation of the property. So whatever capital has been expended on the land, building, development, and all of that, it will take into consideration such matters. Whereas we have argued that the Land Use Act only provides that rent must be on land, not on the property. So I don't know if Oyo State is also considering all of this in its list of approved taxes moving forward.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much, sir.
So, let's take one more.
Okay.
Okay, my question. So this is about personal income tax. So I'm a business owner, and my business pays me a salary. So my own tax, is it payee or direct assessment?
Your business is?
I have a business.
Yeah.
My business pays me a salary. So
Okay.
So that my salary, that my personal salary, is it payee or direct assessment?
Thank you very much. It depends on you. If you decide to give yourself salary, that is an income. If at the end of the financial year, you deduct all your expenses, including salary you pay to yourself and others who work with you. If you deduct all the expenses and you still have profit, that profit as well belongs to who? To you. You file to include the salary you have earned and the profit that you are getting from the business. So then the other questions, taxes. If the landlord is resident in elsewhere other than Oyo State, you pay the tax to the state of residence of that landlord. The tax on the road, I have answered it, that Joint Revenue Board has given the directive that effective from January 1, 2026, there should be estoppel on collection of revenue on the road. But I told you it's going to take some time to expel those people. So, land use charge, if you have any issue of legal nature or any other undesirable one that you know you have evidence of you have the legal backing for, I've told you come and obtain our grievance redress mechanism form. We have been resolving issues on land use charge. I told you when we have consultants are most often than not revenue consultants because of what will go to them. But we, at the community level, we are very many a time try to be dispassionate because a compliance issue that has negative legal implication on us when we get to court, we prefer to resolve it in-house. So, and whenever we do that committee meeting, we do our resolution and we send to the consultant, and he abides by it.
Thank you, sir. So the last set to be from our participants online. We have 3 questions here. One says, international staff exempted from tax. I know there's been an argument on
international
staff. If you're a tax resident of Nigerian origin, it's been said that you have to pay tax. So they want to know how it works. The second one says, what is the tax expectation for a business name? So they're asking. And then the last one says, what is the tax expectation? Okay, that's the same person. What's the tax expectation for a business name? Okay. So I think you can take these two and then you can begin to wind down.
Thank you very much, sir. If you reside in Nigeria and you work remotely for a business outside Nigeria, the fact remains that you are resident in Nigeria and your tax is to be paid to the state where you reside in Nigeria. If you reside abroad and you have income generation transaction in Nigeria, your income that you derive from Nigeria is subject to Nigeria tax. I think I've answered in both phases. Then the other one.
Business registration. What's
business registration, fine, yes. I will link this one with somebody. People have been arguing, social platform has been argued of the fact that you should better go and change your business to limited liability company. If you change your company to limited liability company, your business, it doesn't affect State Internal Revenue Service. It only affects Nigerian Revenue Service. If you are operating a business name, you are not different from your business is not different from you. All those income you earn, that your business name earn, is assumed to be earned by you as a person. Even in partnership cases, they will eventually they will have to share profit. Am I right, sir? Yes. And when profit are shares, it's going to individual, and tax is going to be assessed on individual basis, not on partnership basis. So, in a nutshell, if you register a company as a business as a business name, it doesn't prevent you from filing your income from all sources. If you now you change to limited liability company, you are still the director of that. So if you are relieved from income tax on turnover less than 100 million, it means you have so much more to distribute to yourself as the owner, right? So it increases your personal income tax exposure. So in neither case, the law does not exempt individual. And if individual is a director, then if any amount, director's fee you pay to yourself is still individually earned by you. So if you pay dividend, but I can give this one just as this is an advice, a consultancy advice, and I think I should not say it, sir. So if you want to manage your tax, if you have a limited liability company and you distribute dividend, if 10% withholding tax is deducted from that dividend, it is what? Final tax. But if the income is much and you had it, if you don't declare dividend and you distribute in form of the director's fee is not final tax. The percentage you will pay will be much more than 10%. Just a bonus.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate a round of applause for Mr. Mustafa. And I hope our time is well spent. And I hope that we can put a rest to all this hula baloo about the new tax bill. We want to say thank you very much, Mr. Mustafa, for espousing the new tax law to us and for answering some of our questions. On behalf of the team and the church, we would like to just give you this token for appreciation for coming. Thank you very much, sir. We've learned it, we've heard it from the horse's mouth. So dispassionately, we'll create another forum if we have the opportunity to bring executives, the politicians, so that we can vent our angers on them. So Mr. Mustafa is a friend of the house. Let's not vent our anger on him. He came here to advise us. So when we have the opportunity to bring the executives, and you know we have them in our church, we have them in our church now. Pastor Bayo, is he not working for government? You should be asking him that what is going on.
Hello, sir. Do you allow me to prophesy?
Yes, you can, sir.
Okay. I just want to prophesy to our lives that one day one of the members of this church will become the executive governor of Oyo State.
Amen. Thank you, sir. So, it's very important that the key takeaway from this session, I think it's just one or two. Now we've seen that documentation is very key, very, very important. So how do you create document for your business? How do you create a record? So bookkeeping, record keeping. I recall Dr. Mrs. Babajide took us on record keeping for our businesses. So if we still go back to that session, we'll see a lot that was discussed about record keeping. So seminar team will curate some empowerment that will address bookkeeping, record keeping. I think we've done much about filing. And one of the ways we can also manage our tax is to ensure that we do our financial statements every year. When you do your financial statement, the auditors will look at it, and we have auditors in the house, Brad Patterson, Dr. Babajide, so they can say in your books whether you made profit or you made a loss. And we also understand that if your turnover is less than 100 million, you really don't need to worry yourself, but you need to do your annual filings. Do you understand? So these are some of the things we want us to take away from here. We'll collect the slides from him, and then we'll share across all our platforms so that everybody can have a first-hand understanding of what was discussed here today. So we'll say a very big thank you to our facilitator. As you go back, may the Lord bless you in Jesus' name. And may the Lord bless all our businesses and those who have participated. For our online viewers and participants, we say thank you for making out time to join us in this session. And we'll see you on the next one for the next quarter that we'll be organizing. It won't be on tax again, it'll be on other matters. That will come up maybe sometimes end of June. Thank you very much for coming, and God bless you. Bye.
This joy that I have, the world can never take it from me. No, no, no. Yeah. This peace you have given me, the world can never take it from me. No, no, no. Oh, ayọ̀ tí wọ́n lé ní òde, ire tí wọ́n lé ní ògo. Ayọ̀ tí wọ́n lé ní òde, house of the righteous, so ìrètí wọlé mi o. Ayọ̀ tí wọlé mi